Hey there, it's Jenny. I am back today with my A5 Hobonichi Cousin to do the daily pages for the week. Remember, if you enjoy this video, please leave me a thumbs up and make sure you are subscribed. I am going to use this Happy Planner Value sticker book. I was just looking for something a little bit different. I have a bunch of stickers from the Happy Planner, and I decided, you know what, let's use them in these daily pages. It's a great place to put them. So I work in my Hobonichi in four main quadrants, and then also the strip across the top. So the upper left quadrant is for my plans. The lower left quadrant is for my decoration. The upper right quadrant is for my personal to-dos, and the lower right quadrant is for my work to-dos. I also use that top strip for things that are due, things that are important, things that stand out. Now, I use washi tape and I use stickers, and it took me a long time to sort of recognize the pattern in how I liked to use this page. I am regularly changing things up. I use different supplies and I sometimes alter the layout, but mostly the layout remains the same. That is because this layout just really works really well for me. This is what I want to see on a daily basis. And then I'm left with enough blank space to add what I'm watching, add what I'm reading, and other notes, things like that. So this works out really well for me. I'd like to also point out that this is my main ride or die planner. These A5 Hobonichi Cousin daily pages are where the main break it down planning happens. So I try different things, I use different things, I do different things, but for right now, this is where the main is happening. And that's why these pages are a little messier. They're a little more creative. They're a little more colorful because this is where I allow myself to do all those things is in these pages, and it works great for me. Now on the right hand side, I like to put a little strip of washi tape up at the top as well, and then I also place a small decorative element up in that upper right hand corner too. This is just to honestly just for fun. Like if I find that I need that space, then I'll absolutely stop doing that. This just works for me right now based on how much of the page that I use and then how much I really enjoy the overall look of this layout. I also then add the two strips of washi at the bottom. If I have enough washi that coordinates with the stickers that I'm using, I like to try to switch it up, but if I don't, I'm perfectly okay with just using the same washi all week long. So I did have a couple of rolls of neutral grid washi that would work here, and so that's why we have that here alternating. I find that this is meant for me to really have fun with. So that's why I change the stickers every single week for the most part, and why I'm trying new things all of the time, because this is where I really give myself permission. Because again, this is a daily layout, it changes every day. I only look at a spread for 2 days. Now you can see I'm going through my swatched inks at the front. I'm trying to figure out what color I want to use to stamp the to-do headings. And what I really want is a nice neutral brown. And then I remember that I have this Japanese ink pad and it's really cool and it does actually work really well in this planner. And so I decided, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Like it totally matches. Now, I'm not going to lie, it's getting to the point where it's getting more difficult to stamp on the left-hand side of this planner because there's so much bulk underneath. You know, we're in November now, so the vast majority of the planner is used, and so it's just getting a slight more difficult. It doesn't mean I'm not going to do it or anything like that. I just have to have a little bit more grace for myself when I kind of make mistakes, or I have to pay a lot more attention to the stamping versus just sort of doing it and not really giving it any thought, which is how I normally operate. I'm kind of a just don't worry about if it's perfect. It's really just meant to be enjoyable and creative. And if I'm worried too much about it, it's not enjoyable and creative for me. If you see all this kind of busyness on the screen, I'm trying to dry the ink. Again, Tomoe River paper is wonderful, but one of the things is that it doesn't exactly dry right away. It's ever so slightly slippery. And so, again, the ink needs a minute to dry. So I'm trying to expedite that process so that we can move on from day to day. Now, I couldn't decide if I wanted to do Sunday and Monday in these same stickers or if I wanted to stop at Saturday and then start a new color palette next week. I decided to go with this one because, why not, right? And so I needed to go back and then redo all the things that I had already done, the washies, the stickers, the stamping, all of that. Now I use that Hobonichi weeks, to pre-plan. So when I have an appointment or something like that, I write it down in that week's in pencil. And the system is really working out great for me. At the beginning of the year, I started in a little tiny Erin Condren planner, and I really liked that as well. I just switched to the weeks when I thought that I might be switching out of the Hobonichi Cousin. And I thought, oh my gosh, I really need the Tomoe River paper. I love it. And so that's why I bought a weeks. But still in the Cousin, as you can see. I can't seem to quit it. So now I knew that some of these days would be a little bit different. So for example, I'm using a box sticker to write the plans on this page, which is kind of crazy because I almost never do that. Because again, this is 365 days. Can you imagine how many stickers I go through in this planner doing daily and weekly planning? So I decided that early on that I wanted to kind of draw my boxes. I also like the creativity angle as well. So I don't usually use boxes over there, but I decided that these were so pretty, why not? Then I also wanted to see if I could use colored pens this week, and that was a quick no because I don't have very many colored pens. I do have Papermate Flares, which I really like, and I do have some gel pens, but I'm not the biggest gel pen fan, so I didn't want to break those out. I didn't really have any pens that went with this neutral color palette, so I decided that I was going to stick with my ever faithful black Sharpie pen and then just do the old highlighting around the outside. I liked the way that I tried last week with the headers and stuff. It didn't feel natural, and then with this particular week, I knew that the neutrals were not going to stand out and be enough contrast for me in knowing where my appointments and activities and things like that were. So now you can see this is where I mentioned that I write noteworthy things, for example. So my son doesn't have school that day, so I wrote that up there. I write due dates for work projects up there. I write if my husband's going to be out of town, things like that. Just like, oh, this is sort of, I don't want to say out of the norm because work due dates are not out of the norm, but just things that need to be noted really is honestly it. So I'm writing the appointment or the activity or whatever, then I draw a box around it, and then I use my mild liners to create a drop shadow. I select mild liners ahead of time that will coordinate with the stickers so that the whole page feels cohesive. But I already said this. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoy doing this. The end result isn't super neat and tidy and minimal, but I'm not sure I'm ever going to be a super neat and tidy and minimal planner. So this definitely works for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and just write all the plans and the boxes throughout the rest of the week, and that will be it. So thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, any of that, please let me know and I'd be more than happy to answer you back. So thanks so much and make it a great day.